What is going on, all my wonderful people of the world? I am your girl, the one and only Miss T with the T. And in case you guys did not see my previous video, I've done my first vendor booth / pop-up shop. So I want to share with you guys the pros and cons of a vendor booth / pop-up shop if you guys are interested and whatnot. So if you're interested in going to vendor booth / pop-up shops, then I highly suggest you watch this video.
Who got the tea? Miss T. Ooh, I'm sipping on life, we living the dream. From the heart we shine so clean. Who got the tea? Miss T. Ooh, yeah.
So welcome if you are returning and welcome if you are new here. I'm your girl, Miss T with the T. My channel is all about motivation, encouragement, try to promote yourself to do better in life and all that kind of good stuff. So if you enjoy what you see, I highly suggest you subscribe to the channel, absolutely free. So if you're not familiar, a vendor booth or pop-up shop, they're kind of similar. They are pretty similar. They're just two different names people like to call them. It is a visual display for potential customers to come and look at your products, touch your products, and see if they're interested versus just pretty much online shopping. So yes, I did my very first vendor booth in Savannah, Georgia. I was super excited. It was a success. Did not sell everything, but I did make a profit, and I'm so glad I had that experience. So we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of doing a vendor booth or a pop-up shop, whichever one you prefer to call it. I'm going to start off with the pros, the positive feedback that I got from the vendor booths, and then I'm going to talk about the cons. So some of the positive aspects I want to share with you guys is a great way to promote your business or your channel or whatever you have going on that you're trying to promote. I am a content creator who has just started selling items and started my LLC journey and my entrepreneurial journey. So when people came to my booth, I had my cards with my QR code already on them. So if people were interested in knowing more, then they can just click on the QR code. And on my QR code, I have my link tree. So when you click on my QR code, you can either go to my website, which is www.misstwiththet.online, and see everything that I have on my shop, or you can go to any of my social medias, whether it be YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can check any one of those out. I'm on all those platforms, and I do like to be on those platforms because not everybody is on one platform of social media. So if you're trying to grow, let people know about you as much as possible wherever you can. So I'm on those 4 platforms if you are interested. Once again, it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Another benefit is direct engagement with potential customers. So customers can come up to your booth, ask you about your products, ask you about your background story, what got you interested in starting your business, all that kind of stuff. So you get a one-on-one connection with some of your potential customers or people who are interested in subscribing to any of your platforms or what have you. So yes, that was another positive thing that I enjoyed about the vendor booth. A lot of people were asking me, because I had on, I'll show a clip here. I had on my social media shirt. I have a lot of shirts to promote my social media. So I did have on my shirt, and people were intrigued on what it is that I do. And then I will explain to them what I had going on as far as my social media as well as my products. And I will give them a card so they can feel free to check me out. So yes, the direct engagement was a success. It's a great way to get that one-on-one contact with some people who may be potential customers, reoccurring customers, all the above. Never miss out on a moment to potentially gain a customer. So I did enjoy that part, and I did hand out a lot of cards. Another benefit and a positive feedback that I want to share with you guys is people are able to directly see your products. When you have it posted on a website, maybe it may be hard for you to see it. People get to come to your booth and they get to touch your products, get to feel the material, ask you questions about the product that may not be on the website that they may want to ask. Then, they get to do all that stuff at your vendor booth. So that is another positive feedback. So I know a lot of people came up to my booth and they were asking me about certain products, and I was answering them the best of my ability and all that stuff. You do not want to go to a vendor booth and then not know what to say to customers. You should not know. You should always know what you got going on with your products, your business, all that kind of stuff. So yes, it was a lot of talking and engagement with people, and people got to feel and touch and see and ask about my product. So that was another plus. I really did enjoy that, and it was a great conversation with potential customers. So that was awesome. Okay, so now that we wrapped up a couple of positive things, let's go ahead and talk about the cons. One of the cons that I had was my vendor booth, my very first vendor booth slash pop-up shop was outdoors, and I was not prepared for the elements. I did not have a tent, and then towards the end of the vendor booth session, it got really windy, so people who did have tents, it kind of blew away their tents, kind of, if you weren't there to hold it down. So be prepared for all kind of elements if you are outside. It may rain that day. You never know what's going to go on if it's outdoors. It was a bright, sunny day. It was in the 80s in Savannah, Georgia when I did my vendor booth. So it was awesome. And just like towards the end, we just had a little bit of wind. But yes, be prepared for the weather and everything if you're going to be doing vendor booths outside. Another con I want to share with you is that you could potentially lose money doing a vendor booth. I know vendor booths can range from $10 to $20 all the way up to like $50, $100 plus whatnot. The vendor booth I went to was between $20 and $30, so it was within my price range. So doing the vendor booth, I was prepared. I was like, okay, I need to make at least $30 to make my money back from doing the vendor booth, and then on top of that, make a profit as well. So I did have a great success, but sometimes people may not be interested in your vendor booths. A suggestion I would like to add is don't just sign up for any and every vendor booth that you see online that you find. I found my future vendor booths in Eventbrite, but you can look on Facebook, meetup.com. They have meetups and where they do promoting and things like that. So make sure that you do a vendor booth that's within your price range. I was fortunate enough to make a profit, but sometimes you may not make a profit. Maybe people aren't interested in your products at every location that you have your vendor booth slash pop-up shop. And the last kind I want to share with you guys is potential competition. Some people may be having the same type of items that you have at your vendor booth, so be aware of that and just know, you may have some type of competition. Maybe they might have the same similar items that you have, but at a lower price. So just always be aware of your surroundings and see who has what. I walked around and I was the only one who happened to have tumblers and pillowcases and coloring books for the kids. So that is what I want to share with you guys. Hopefully this video was able to help you guys out any type of way. And with all that said and done, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a message or email me at withthet1980@gmail.com. With that said, thank you guys all for watching. Until next time.
Who got the tea?